Hey guys, it's me again, Barry with Barry's A-Track and Classic Car Radio Repair. And this unit is from Mike in East Aurora, New York. It's an Akai GXR-82D. This calls for kind of a special video in itself. For about almost about a year, I was not taking in the high-end Akais. Now, this does not include the CR83. The CR83 uses a regular 12-volt motor, but all your other Akai A-Tracks use a big old huge AC motor that's about the size of this. I don't have a motor on hand, but this is about the size of that original motor. It's a big old huge heavy thing, runs at a very low RPM. It had a lot of torque when it was new. It was synchronized to the AC line, so it didn't need any special fancy circuitry. And so that was a very, very quiet motor. All that's available these days is the motor that is the adjustable speed motor that I've developed, and it's quite a bit smaller. And now, to buy one of these original motors, if they still made them, I would estimate their cost at least $150 wholesale. I mean, these are some big old, huge, heavy, high torque, low RPM motors. And if you guys know anything about electric motors, low RPM motors cost a lot. They're just I'm not really sure why. It's something to do with the magnetic properties. But at any rate, the point that I'm making here is my new motor has to run at a much faster speed. This little bitty motor doesn't have the torque to drive that big old pulley to run at a lower RPM. So the end result here is the machine's going to be a little bit noisier than when it came out of the factory. I'm going to go ahead and I've got the machine turned on right now. The motor is running. You do hear a little bit of a buzz, a little bit of mechanical buzz from the motor. You can hear it for several feet away from the machine. It's not all that loud, but you can notice it if you're looking for it. Now I'm going to turn it also comes through. You can hear that little bit of motor noise coming through the speakers, but now let's compare that noise level to the sound of the music. Now that's cranked really high up, so the music is definitely going to overcome that noise. Even at a moderate listening level, you're only going to hear this noise when there's no tape in here, or if you're playing, or if you're listening at a very low volume and you're listening for noise, you will hear it. So if that bothers you, don't send in your high-end Akais, but I have worked my way around to the point where I can now take them in again if the customer is willing to tolerate just a little bit of noise here. And also, you lose the fast-forward function because my new motor does not have a fast forward winding, and I don't recommend using fast forward with 8-track tapes anyway. They were notorious for jamming even when they were the new hot thing back in the 70s, and of course this is not a situation that improves with age. If you try to run your machine in fast forward mode, you're going to pack the tape unevenly on the hub. Now the way an 8-track tape works is there's just a hub with no top flange. The tape is pulled from the center of the hub, meaning that the tape's being pulled out from under several layers of tape. So the last thing you want is in changing the speed causes the tape to pack unevenly. Fast forward causes it to pack tighter on the hub. You don't want 8-track tapes packed too tightly on the hub when you're pulling the tape out from the center of a full hub. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and demonstrate this unit. Mike, I finally have your machine ready. Here we go. Got some Neil Sedaka going on here. Okay, now you will hear on track 4 and maybe even on track 3, you might hear some little weird tones and stuff. Those are test tones that I sometimes use to troubleshoot the audio circuits, and those test tones often get automatically recorded onto the tape. Even if the machine doesn't have a record head, when you feed a test tone into a circuit and it gets back to the head, it can record on the tape. So that's why you might hear an occasional weird beep or something like that. Even a left channel dropping out would be on track 4 with this tape. Okay, there's those tones I was talking about. So probably don't want to hear those. Okay, it's at this volume level that I can no longer hear the noise. It's a very low listening level. Here we go. Okay, this is the noise that you hear between songs. The noise is actually at a lower level. The noise is actually at a lower level than the tape hiss, so I'm going to call it good. I'm going to call it the best that can be done in this day and age with a high-end Akai. So I'm going to stop on that note there. I can now take in the high-end Akais again as long as you're willing to put up with a little bit of the noise level being possibly out of spec. But it still appears to be below the level of the tape hiss. So I don't think it's going to be an objectionable. I don't think it's going to be objectionable. I think the customer is going to be pretty happy with this unit. So that being stated, I'm Barry with Barry's 8-Track and Classic Car Radio. But you know what? We never did make sure that this thing plays through both speakers on the video. So let's make sure of that. Okay, take a look at the meters real quick, and there's our output. Alrighty, so now we've confirmed we have output on both sides, so now I can close the video. I'm Barry with Barry's 8-Track and Classic Car Radio Repair, and yes, you can send in your high-end Akais now. My number is 928-533-9666. My website is in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, listening, and we'll see you guys next time.